A flood group is petitions to explain why Inishowen has been omitted from Donegal County Council's emergency flood response plan. The plan was published in March and Inishowen was used as a case study but was not identified as an area of high risk despite being badly hit by the devastating floods of August 2017. Ahead of the group's monthly meeting being held this evening at 7 o'clock, a Cockhill Celtic Youth Club Secretary of Buncrana Flood Group Paul Clifford believes there may have been some miscommunication. However, he says intervention from local representatives is essential.
We just don't understand. They've actually used us as an example of why an emergency flood plan is needed, but have left us off the plan. I would really like an explanation. I think is important, but I think it's probably a mistake on the part of the council or lack of communication. But in either event, I would like to be able to explain to members of the group why exactly this happened.
And you need the politicians, they need to be your voice to get this changed.
Well, we look at them as our public representatives. They're the communication between us and the civil servants who were responsible for this report. So as we see it, they should be acting on our behalf and speaking up for us and making sure that we're, particularly in Inishowen, speaking up for us and making sure that we're included in this, which is a really vital component of our protection against the flood. It's not just physical barriers, there's the planning element as well.
While you would be encouraging politicians to come along to the meeting, you're encouraging as many people as possible to come and unite in this.
Certainly, our primary aim is to share ideas, share knowledge and share whatever expertise we can get with people to help protect them in the future. So we would encourage anybody to come along, even if they don't feel threatened by any future floods, but if they just want to find out how things go along or how they can help, then definitely come along. Everybody's welcome.
In response to the claims that Inishowen has been left out of the emergency flood response plan, the local authority says the peninsula has not been left out of the scope of the plan. They say that the list of towns included is non-exhaustive and additional towns or villages can be added if it is deemed appropriate. Catherine Gaffney has more.
Section 2.5 of the Donegal Flood Emergency Response Plan identifies a number of towns determined to have a high risk within Donegal. These are areas where there is historical evidence of regular flooding. This is also supported by the Catchment Flood Risk Assessment and Management Studies. These areas will have targeted flood action plans developed, which will be appended to the Flood Emergency Response Plan once they have been finalised. The flood action plans will have some additional information for responders such as local area maps, vulnerable critical infrastructure and potential traffic diversions. The local authorities say that the list of towns is non-exhaustive and additional towns or villages can be added if it's deemed appropriate.
The unemployment rate